I noticed that you guys have made some of your biggest announcements to date this year. And many of us were here last year when you sort of inaugurated what was going to happen, especially in the Salesforce front. And I see that you guys have done some of the initial integrations with Salesforce. Can you tell me just a little bit about how long that process has taken and sort of the pains that you guys have gone through in doing that? And also I want to talk a little bit about the Microsoft Dynamics partner relationship too that you guys have just done. So
yeah, we've been focused on the Salesforce relationship for probably, it's been over a year now. As you mentioned, we announced last year integration with Salesforce that we were going to be developing it. And one of our core principles at the beginning was that we wanted access for clients who are already using Salesforce the way that they're using it, and also for future clients of Salesforce. And so we've deployed a solution that allows an advisor to use it if they went direct to Salesforce and they customize it themselves, if they used a Salesforce ISV and they've used the ISV to customize Salesforce, or if they come to us and purchase the integrated office through Schwab Performance Technologies, they have that customized view of Salesforce. And all three of those deployments would allow an advisor to have access to the gateway integrations. And so, the idea was we wanted breadth, we wanted to be able to reach clients and not force them to choose a particular implementation of Salesforce. And over the course of the year, we've gotten great feedback from the advisory boards that have been working on this with us, and also our beta clients, our pilot clients, giving us feedback as to what are the implementation challenges that they face, so that as we're kind of refining the process, we can make sure that they're able to leverage the implementations. One of the interesting things that we learned was we have this what we call the do no harm principle, which is around allowing an advisor to implement the integrations in a quick start method or an advanced method. And that allows an advisor to get up and running right away if they want to, or they can actually take the time to map out their households and tie the integrations to those households. So you can actually see the data in the context of the household that you've set up in Salesforce. It takes a little longer for setup, but it's also going to be much more powerful. And so we've tried to come up with a lot of different ways to make sure that the implementation and integrations are going to be powerful for the advisor. And everyone works differently in this industry.
Well, have you guys had a mix in terms of size of firm involved in the pilot? So you've had maybe some one-man or very small shops and then some larger. What have been some of the challenges between those two, or maybe the different types of things they've asked for in terms of features?
Yeah, I think the way that I would look at it is we've had clients who are using CRM for the first time, right? So we have clients who used Excel or ACT or Goldmine, and now they're using CRM, and what they need is, how does CRM work a lot of times, right? For them, it's a big game changer to just be using CRM. So they ask different questions around implementation, about how they should set up their deployment of Salesforce, things like that. Then a client, for example, we have a pilot client who has, I think, 80 Salesforce licenses. And they actually just recently went through the evaluation process of selecting Salesforce. And they spent 18 months evaluating different technologies. They're a large, multi-billion-dollar firm. So the questions that they ask are very different than the question that 1-3-person shop asks. And partly our design has been that through the integrated office, we customize Salesforce, we make it what we think is a good solution for an RIA. And we don't have as many bells and whistles on that version, and that's kind of by design, so that the advisor can get up and running and start using it quickly, where in the fully customizable OpenView Gateway solution, the advisor can do whatever they want with it, right? It's just integrations available. So the design has been to have these kind of variations, because it really depends on the life cycle of the firm. That's really determining what are the features that they're most interested in, and how are they going to use the CRM and then the integrations.
I got a chance to look at the workflow PDF that you guys put
Oh, good.
together.
What'd you think?
Well, it seems a bit overwhelming. I'm wondering, you could spend a lot of time going through the complexities of setting this up. I'm wondering, are you finding many of the advisors in the pilot that are trying to adopt those or put together their own? And I'm sure, like this very large firm, going to be doing some things lots of other firms aren't necessarily going to do, and are going to have to build some workflows on their own. Mm-hmm. How overwhelming are firms like that finding this process?
Well, So the workflow library is something we didn't talk about last year that much, right? But what we did talk about is that we felt it was very important to not just be providing technology. That we thought that one of the key areas that we needed to provide support was in what we call guidance and support. And I mean, I've been at Schwab for almost 8 years, and every time you're in a client conversation around technology operations, the one question they always ask is, well, how does everyone else do it? What's the best practice, you know? And we've never had a template, essentially. We've never been able to say, here's a template based on all the insight that we've gathered over the years that's going to allow you to have a starting point. That doesn't mean that you're not going to customize it, because every firm's going to operate a little bit differently, but here's the place to start. And so what the workflow document, as you could tell, it's not a one-pager, it's a 20-page packet, right? Because we wanted to provide a process diagram, we wanted to provide checklists, and then we also wanted to help an advisor learn how to embed that process into the CRM. So we've customized it so some of the workflows that we launched are customized for the Salesforce application. And so there's step-by-step instructions to help an advisor say, okay, this is a best practice on how to open an account, or this is a best practice on how to ask for a client referral. Well, this is a checklist, this is the process, I'm going to tweak that based on what my firm needs, and then here are the directions as to how I'm going to implement it into Salesforce, because we think that is really going to help institutionalize it. I think to your question about, is it too much or is it not enough? What we found is it really varies, and one of the reasons that we're phasing the launch of this, so we were launching the first 5 workflows, one of the reasons is because we want that feedback. So some clients we've had clients on the pilots and they're telling us that this is great, this is exactly what I wanted. We've had some clients say, you know what I really like is page 1, page 4, and page 8, right? And the rest of it I'm not sure if I need right now. And so, you know, with over 6,500 clients that we're trying to figure out how we serve with all of these different pieces of the offering, what we're trying to do is say, okay, let's create this comprehensive offering, and if our clients are going to pick and choose, then let's make sure the information's out there. Because again, by design, this is all about breadth and trying to serve as many clients as possible.
And I know on the OpenView Gateway piece, you guys you've already worked on integrations with Juncture. I got a view into some of the integrations there in terms of the data, back and forth with data.
Mm-hmm.
Another big piece of the news that you guys announced this morning was Salentica, am I pronouncing that
That's right,
right?
Salentica.
On the Microsoft Dynamics front.
Yes.
Are you guys going to be working with other partners that have sort of built customized RIA-specific versions of Dynamics? Do you have any other in mind right now, or that this is the first one and you're going to pursue others?
Well, we will pursue others likely, but the really cool thing about the Salentica platform is that, first of all, it's very popular with some of our largest clients. So it's very popular in the large wealth management, multifamily office space.
So big asset.
Big asset, yeah, big asset gathering firms, whether they're wealth managers or family offices. So we, I think, over $20–30 billion in assets on their platform in terms of our shared clients. So, lots of large advisors who are using them. But the really cool thing about the relationship that we've structured with them is that they are not only going to build the integrations into their product, their Advisor Desk product, but they're also going to be building the direct to Microsoft plugin. So for advisors who are going to just use Microsoft CRM directly, and we do have some, and we think that's a market that'll probably grow as well, Salentica will be building that product as well. So a direct to Microsoft CRM client will also be able to use this plugin to get access to the OpenView Gateway integrations. They don't have to necessarily use the Salentica desktop product. And we think that that's going to be a really nice feature for those types of clients. And then, yeah, we're definitely talking to other Microsoft ISVs as well, who we think are, doing things in a unique way. The nice thing about the infrastructure that we've spent the last year building is that there's really not a limit as to number of CRM providers that we could add. We've basically created all the infrastructure, all the security, the robust security, and the data services, and so now it's just a matter of identifying the right providers. We don't think that we want to necessarily have every CRM in the world out there, but there's not limitations from a technology standpoint on adding more.